Hello everybody, let's have a look at the Nottingham Forest game. Welcome to Palace to the Core. My name is Stephen Dawes, and today I'm going to be talking about the Nottingham Forest game against Crystal Palace. So if you haven't seen the score yet, or if you haven't seen what happened, do go and do that and then come back and listen to my review of the game, because I'm going to be giving away spoilers. So I was quite up for this game because, Nottingham Forest haven't done incredibly well this season, and I thought that we were going to be I thought then we were going to take on, the win that we had the last game. I thought we were going to take that forward. I know that the Newcastle game was different, but I thought that we would take on our previous Premier League form and, at least have a good game against Nottingham Forest. In general speaking, it was a little bit disappointing, unfortunately, but I'm going to go into a bit more detail. So first half, we actually started really well. We created a couple of chances, and Zaha put the ball over the, just lobbed the ball over the top. So that was a good chance that we didn't manage to take. And I thought for the first half, we actually had quite a lot of possession of the ball. We were passing about okay. I mean, there was a few bit of theatrics from Nottingham Forest going on, a few there. A few Oscars could have been won that night. But in general, I think that we had the most of the game in terms of possession. But as has happened in previous games, we just didn't have that final cutting edge. We were getting the ball through the midfield fairly well, but as soon as it was getting forward, we were just lacking a little bit of clinical finishing at the front. Zaha, I think, in the first half did quite well in trying to get involved and make things happen. Mitchell had, it wasn't his best game, should we say. He had a few mistakes here and there, and then he got an ankle injury which he carried on playing on for the rest of the first half and into the second half. But I think then he got clattered again and eventually got substituted for Joel Ward. So we'll have to wait and see if he obviously we've got the World Cup break now, so he should come back okay, but I think he's probably going to have been picked up some kind of injury in that game. But he didn't have his best game up until that point, unfortunately. And I thought that, apart from that, we weren't too bad. We were dealing with what Nottingham Forest managed to throw at us. That, Forest had a couple of chances in the first half, but I thought in general we were okay in terms of trying to get possession. We just didn't lack that cutting edge, which was a bit of a shame. And also, I felt that we were a little bit slow again. When we play with a faster tempo, we tend to be better, but we were a little bit slow in going forward, and it kind of just allowed Nottingham Forest to get into spaces and to cause, to stop things from happening. We then also had a golden opportunity to get the first goal when Wilfried Zaha was brought down in the box, and it seemed like it was a fairly clear-cut penalty to me. But VAR insisted on checking it, and they took about it must have taken at least a couple of minutes to check the VAR, and then there was a bit of a delay while the goalkeeper set himself. So it was about 3 minutes, I think, between the time that Zaha was fouled and the time he actually came up to do the penalty. Unfortunately, he missed it. He sent it just wide of the post, which is a shame. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to have a go at Zaha for that, because penalties are one of those things where, even the most experienced players have missed penalties in the past, so it's not one of those things you can have a go at him for. But it was a bit of an unwanted delay, I think, in terms of VAR. I don't think they needed to take that long to check it. But anyway, so that was a golden opportunity that didn't happen. So we managed to stay at 0-0, and they went into the first half, or end of the first half, with it still being 0-0. And I thought that at that point that if we came out a bit stronger in the second half, a bit more pace behind us, then I thought we might be able to get something out of the game. Second half started, and it kind of stayed pretty much the same after that. We were a little bit lethargic still, not quite moving the ball as quickly as I know we can do. And unfortunately, on 54 minutes, the ball came in that was saved or parried by Gaeta, and Morgan Gibbs-White came in and managed to knock the rebound into the back of the net. Now, originally, they thought that was offside. Well, at least that's what the fourth official thought. The linesman thought. But VAR again took a little bit of time to check it and realised and ruled it was actually a goal. Now, from the viewing angle that I managed to see, it looked like it was offside. But here we go. Who knows? It's one of those things where some people are going to say it's offside, some people are going to say it's not. I thought personally that it was, but it was a bit of a disappointment. But hey, It's one of those things, and you've got to try and move past it. And for me, there was a little bit of an issue after half time. Zaha, I can't work out whether it was a mixture of him being marked really well, which he was marked quite well by Nottingham Forest, or whether he just let his head drop because of the penalty miss. But he seemed to just disappear from the game in the second half. The ball wasn't really given to him a huge amount anyway, which didn't help. But he didn't seem to be having much time on the ball. He didn't seem to be coming for the ball as much. And as I say, I don't know whether that's because he was just being marked really well or whether he'd let his head drop. I don't know. But he didn't really seem to make much happen in the second half, which was a bit of a shame. Eze and Elise were kind of okay. Elise perhaps not as much as Eze. Eze did try a few things here and there, and Elise did, but they didn't seem to be that effective either, unfortunately. Eze had a couple of shots on goal, but didn't make anything happen from those. I think AU had a decent performance. I thought, again, he was really hard working down that side there, trying to get crosses in, trying to get things into the mix. But in generally speaking, I think it was just a little bit of an off day for the whole team. No one really played, extremely well. I think obviously at the back you've got Clyde had a decent game. Anderson had a decent game, so did Gay. He picks up another yellow card, so he's going to be missing from the Boxing Day game when we come back to the Premier League. And Mitchell had didn't have a fantastic game. Joel Ward came on and was okay. He was a bit more steady in the back there. Midfield wise, I think Doucouré had a good game again. He was really working hard. He tends to be overrun sometimes in the midfield, and I think that we need to sort that out. Hughes came on later on in the second half, and I felt that we were a little bit more solid at that point. I think maybe Hughes and Doucouré in the middle, and I've said this before, that I think maybe we need to go back to a 4 and have someone like Wills and Doucouré in the middle to give us a bit more solidity in the midfield and stop things coming past us or going through us as they have done in the past. Whether that will happen or not, I don't think so, but we'll have to wait and see. In terms of up front, I thought that we just lacked a little bit of clinical finishing. Edouard and Mateta came on later on in the second half, but at that point Nottingham Forest had dropped back quite a long way and were kind of defending around the box. And unfortunately for us, which is a little bit frustrating, we were passing the ball on the back line, I guess trying to make an opening happen, but we weren't really testing Nottingham Forest by that stage. And I think what we should have been doing is playing the ball down the side, getting crosses in for Edouard and Mateta to get on the edge of, because that would have put more pressure on the Nottingham Forest back line, who we know have scored. People have scored against them, and they've got the best back line in the world. So I think maybe more balls into the box to try and test them a bit more would have been the way forward. But we still try to play our passing game, passing it from the back into the midfield and forward. But of course, with so many bodies back in the Nottingham Forest half, it was always going to be a difficult thing to do. So in general, it wasn't a very exciting game, but work on some more things during the break and come back stronger after the World Cup. But let me know what you think. Of course, as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what is going to happen in terms of how do we deal with this and how do we move forward and make ourselves more of a threat up front. Of course, I've also got to let you know what's going to happen to the channel during the World Cup. I'm going to be talking about news as it comes in about Crystal Palace, and not that I'm expecting there to be very much, so you might not get videos every single day during the World Cup, but I will try and update you guys as often as things turn up. And also I'll be trying to let you know of any games that happen that involve our players. I know Joachim Anderson is going to be involved, so and I'll be letting you know what happens when he's playing and stuff like that. Hopefully there'll be a few bits here and there, but if not, I will see you after the World Cup. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.